What's going on, everybody? Welcome to a little impromptu segment of Dark Horse Discourse. Today we have our friend Patrick Quinlan, who is going to be closing out his campaign here very shortly, and so I wanted to get him on here, see if we can get him as close to $3,000 as possible, and yeah, just hang out a bit, talk about what's been going on in the indie space, and I guess on the Twitterverse as well a bit. So let's add Patrick in here. What's going on, man?
Hello. Thanks for having me, BA. Hello, chat. What's going on, everybody?
How you been doing, man?
Good. Today was a little rough in the morning. I went to sparring for the first time in 6 weeks, and I got clobbered bad, and my arm got dislocated. But it's all good now. So just a rough morning. But I'm excited to be here, and I'm excited to close out Minotaur tonight. Very excited.
Nice. Yeah, you've been doing the rounds obviously for a couple months now with the streaming and the last minute just crazy stream sessions, right? Almost every day I see you're streaming or on a couple people's streams. So sure you'll be feeling relaxed here in a day or
Yeah.
two a little bit. So
Oh yeah, for sure.
but yeah, campaign's been doing pretty good though. Definitely got a surge. And I mean how did your first campaign, where did you land on that one?
That was I want to say 1572, I think is where it ended.
Oh, so you're already
Um,
50% higher then. So that's
yeah,
that's awesome.
and way more backers this time.
Mhm.
Partially because the last one, the book was $20. This one, it's $10. So you can see, even with being less expensive, there's still like
Well,
more
you're one of the
coming in.
few then that not only dropped your prices and got more backers, but you actually got more funds.
Yeah,
Because I've seen a handful of folks, right? They'll cut their prices hoping to get more backers, and a lot of times they don't get more backers. And if they get the same amount of backers than the previous campaign, then it can kind of get rough on the funding side of things. So definitely
yeah,
did something right, that's for sure.
yeah. Well, the second time around, there's a lot of when you do the things the first time, you don't know how much things cost or what to expect from people.
Hmm, hmm.
So this second time around was a lot more like I knew what to expect. Um, so costs were cut in certain areas, and then obviously I dropped the price. But I think that the dropping of the prices, um, I think that was a really good choice, and I think I'm going to stick with that from now on. It's $10 comic books.
Nice. Awesome. Well, let's see who's in the chat here. We have Cross Comics late. Yes, a little bit late. What's going on? We have Tevin the Lore Seeker. Welcome. Mr. Frederick Gumont.
Guman,
Yeah, close
Guman.
as I'll
Don't say
get.
the T at the end.
Gumon. That's
Yeah.
right. Nice. How's it going? Mr. Bitcoin. I'll call him. I know he's a crypto bro as well. So
He's got an upcoming comic too.
yeah, yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
Rattel.
Awesome.
It's going to be really
Mm-hmm.
cool.
Yeah. Yeah, Frost, I'm part of the lore winning. Yeah, I had to figured I'm just gonna have a goofy intro with some little clips where I'm smirking shit because that's something people notice. And of course the classic debate with Tim and the drummer boy in the background. So I had to have that in there. So but knock on wood, haven't he hasn't been trolling my YouTube videos or anything for months, so I may have given up. So the debate definitely was a success then. That was the goal.
Shut down. Nice.
uh, Thank you, brother. You
Thank you,
as
sir.
well, man. Yeah, that's something for everybody. Merry Christmas, obviously, Happy
Mhm.
New Year, and hope everyone had a good break from work. Hopefully, got to spend some time with their family and all that because that's what matters. So definitely a good time of the year. All right. Amazing Gaming Productions. What's going on? Welcome. Pricing is important. You'll get more people to support your new comic if you drop the price. If you can market it the proper way, for sure. And Patrick is the prime example of that. I think Richard as well, right? His new
Oh yeah.
campaign, his came out swinging as well, which is fantastic. Um, and the thing too is if you're at least maintaining the quality of your first issue, if not upping it, right? I think you and Richard have upped it in regards to the talent on your project and some of the things you guys are offering. But if you don't really do anything to offset the fact that you're dropping your price to bring new backers, you can't assume that just the price drop is gonna bring you more backers, unfortunately. But yeah, definitely these are two guys to keep an eye on to see kind of how they've handled things, and definitely good examples to learn from. Carbonheart, what's going on, brother? Welcome.
What's up, Carbon?
Hi, Michelle. How you doing? Welcome. So yeah, let's start off by pulling up Patrick's campaign here. Yeah.
I like your background, by the way.
Oh yeah, I love the moving smoke graphic.
Other people have boring, stagnant backgrounds.
Yep. Yeah, luckily my internet can handle it. So otherwise I wouldn't be doing it. So yeah, I think what I'd like to do tonight, and I think everyone's goal tonight is to try to get this as close to 3K as possible. I mean, this definitely has. I mean, this should be to me in 5-figure territory, but that is not an easy task these days with how oversaturated the space is and competitive the space is. But again, growing 50% over the first campaign. You're going to have another campaign coming in the near future. Definitely heading in the right direction here. But let's see what we can get here in the last hours and try to get it up to 3K. I definitely back this, obviously. I think I did the catch up tier. So that's something I would recommend myself. Just going to show folks again how competitive the pricing is before you go ahead and do your spiel on this. But I mean, $10 can't beat that price. Um, got some fantastic cover art here by Peter Gilmore. He did the coloring in the book as well, right?
That's correct.
So
Yes.
that's fantastic. And then you have the first issue here, right, with the comic magazine
Yes.
with the Jimmy Reyes cover here, and then you can double them up for, I mean, $27 for two books is fantastic. So why don't you go ahead and give us a little bit of the backstory on the campaign, and yeah,
Yeah.
show us what you got.
So, Phenomenal Tales, ladies and gentlemen. My mainline series is Phenomenon. So, if you scroll back down to that Jimmy Reyes cover, like BA said, that Jimmy Reyes cover there, that's the first comic book I ever came out with, and that came out in June, I want to say. So that's called Phenomenon. Now, this series is Phenomenal Tales, which takes one of the characters in the ensemble cast from Phenomenon and tells essentially a story about that person, kind of a background intro kind of thing to that character, which not only provides an origin story for that character, but also it provides a lot of information about the universe that this whole thing is set in. So, long story short. In 1972, the United States and the Soviet Union had a nuclear war. They call it the Atomic War. So these comics are set about 20 years later, after both countries have taken 2 decades to kind of recover. The nuclear fallout has made hideous, horrible mutated bands of roving rad monsters, as they call them. These mutated animals that go around eating people and killing people and procreating. You don't want to know how they do that. And So that's a giant issue for everybody involved because they have all these monsters roaming around. But in this comic, Phenomenal Tales #1, the Soviet Union actually has to defend against a border incursion from the People's Republic of China. So it's 2 commie countries at war with one another for territory. So not only do they have to fight the Chinese and the rad monsters, but there's a particularly dangerous rad monster, a legendary rad monster that's been wiping out entire camps of both the Russian and the Chinese in a matter of nights. So our hero, or hero in parentheses, in quotations, excuse me, is Grigory Svidrigailov, this guy shooting the gun with the mustache and the bald head here. He is the most efficacious soldier in the Soviet Union. And so Red Army Command sends him out to go capture this rad monster so they can study it for the war effort. And that's the beginning of our tale here.
Nice. So yeah, I mean, obviously, when you came out with the magazine, was it early last year
It was
when you
this
ran
year,
that
actually.
campaign, or was it earlier this year?
Mm-hmm.
Jeez, yeah, yeah. So you're definitely getting these out quick as well. I mean, that was what initially intrigued me, right? Was the setting,
Mhm.
and the cultures that you had into the comic and into the world. Because almost all comics are based in the states, right? Urban cities, even my own. But the fact that you had it in the Soviet Union, you got Russians involved, now Chinese,
Mhm.
like to me, that makes it very unique, obviously, compared to the rest of the indie space. And that also requires a ton of research because you're not from there, right?
Right.
But I
Right.
know, like me, you have interest in that part of the world and the history there. So, a lot of people can pick up a lot of unique kind of info from comics like this that um, they wouldn't pick up from a standard Western comic, in my opinion. So definitely excited to see where this heads.
Yeah, that was actually the most fun. I don't know how you feel about, when you were doing research for your novel, but
Hmm.
doing research is just so much fun, you know?
Oh, yeah. Yeah. I mean, whether it's, the weapons or just quirks about different cultures. I mean, the thing with me was, I was living in Russia when I was writing, probably half of my, you know, half of my books in total. And so I was able to just witness to people how they act, make friends there, and just pick up on their quirks and habits and integrate that into my Russian character. So like I got to do that like research in person, but a good chunk of my book it revolves around neuroscience. I'm not a
Mhm.
neuroscientist. I knew very little about it, but man, it was fun learning about synapses and stem cells and all these things that I tied
Mhm.
into the book. And yeah, it's a lot of fun. It's time consuming, takes a ton of effort, but it's fun. And I like to think too that it's more rewarding for the readers as well, right? Because it's not just
Yeah.
generic and just kind of common sense information that's on the page. And I always appreciate a creator that puts a ton of effort and research in their books, just like Alan Moore and them did, right? They
Mhm.
really went all out. Nothing was done hastily or in a lazy manner. So,
It reminds me of actors who really study their role and they add things in, like they make up facts about their character that no one's ever going to see or hear, but they
mhm.
know it. And so when it comes out, for them it's on the movie, but when it comes out on the page, for all these things that that the audience isn't going to know, it adds this level of realism that I think people pick up on
Mhm.
unconsciously, whether or not they can see it directly.
Mhm. Mhm. Yep. Yep. Yeah, and the cool thing too is, like for my book, for example, I lived around Detroit, spent a lot of time down there. So, you get to take your own real world experience and knowledge, put it in there, and then expand on the escapism aspect of it with your research and with the different cultures and weaponry and things that you add into the story. So
Mhm.
it's nice to have that unique twist on it.
That's the fun thing for me right now is since I've done most of the research here, now it's like little things like what weapon is Minotaur going to hold? And I'm into Second Amendment rights. I'm big into that.
Hmm.
So I'm all about that, and I love, I try to like design specific weapons for my characters.
Hmm. Hmm.
And there's even cooler stuff too. Like, I don't know if you've ever heard of, I'm going to geek out here for a second. So there's the AK platform, the AK system. It's just a great system. But this guy, he's a gun tuber, as they call it. Brandon Herrera. He
Hmm.
actually ran for Senate or House of Representatives, one of those two. And he wants to be the director of the ATF now, which please God, let that happen. But anyway, he with his friends like made an AK that's chambered in 50 BMG, which is like one of the biggest rounds you could possibly have. So it
Hmm.
makes this gun just ginormous, and it's like I have to use that now. Like I have to put this into the comic. It's
Yeah.
so much fun to do that kind of stuff.
Yeah. And that was, for me, one of the characters is, an American police officer. So obviously, police issued Glock, things of that
Hmm.
nature, more of the standard, I guess, US weapons, AR-15s for some of the super soldiers. But for the Russian character, right, it was fun to research, pick a particular, Tokarev
Yeah,
handgun, and then the AK-74M. I
yeah,
just really, really like that gun. So yeah, it was fun to do research on those weapons, different types of grenades that were used, back in the wars that you could integrate into the story. But yeah,
yeah.
that's
The
fun.
RGD, that's a classic. It's a nice looking grenade too.
Oh yeah. Well, and that's the thing too. It's like, you have with comics, you're obviously limited in terms of the amount of text that you can put in there and how deep you can go depending on page count. But that's the one thing I really enjoyed with doing prose is where I could really elaborate on all that stuff. But the fact that you are doing that as well in a comic, like again, there's so many books out there, whether it's prose or comics, where it's just like, pew pew, they have a handgun, or it's just
Right.
so
Yeah.
generic, and it's like, come on, like
Yeah.
literally, folks, get creative with it. That's what this is all about.
I've become kind of a comic gun snob at this point.
Mhm,
You can tell the people who like put a lot of effort in and they like, they'll find a model and even if they don't know what it is, they'll be like, all right, I'm gonna make it look like a real gun. And then there's people who just like it's like a metal box. And you're like,
mhm.
okay, man.
Yep, yep.
Um, but yeah, I went all out on all of that stuff. I mean, even if you scroll back up to some of those pages there, all of the Russian soldiers, because this is in Mongolia, it's in the mountains, so it's kind of
Mhm,
cold. All the Russian soldiers here, they wear Gorka suits.
mhm, mhm,
I actually have one of those. It's a great suit, honestly.
mhm.
So that's just another little detail that I've added in. It's all exactly like it would be,
Yeah,
according
got
to
the
real life.
classic Ushanka there.
Yes, yes.
Uh-huh. Yep. Yeah, that's awesome.
Okay, can I ask you a question? Because when I
Yeah.
was over in Russia, they called that the shляpa.
Huh.
Did you ever hear that?
I
Shляpa?
did, yeah. Yeah. It must be a different I wonder if there's some that are very similar, but somewhat unique to where they have different terms for them. And where were you over there? I don't think we actually talked
Leningrad. I
Oh,
mean,
okay,
St.
so you're in
Petersburg.
St. Petersburg.
Yeah,
Nice.
yeah.
And you just went there to visit, right? Or
I
like
was there for
tourism
like
or
an exchange program with my
Oh,
school.
nice. Yeah, I never that's well, I gotta once I'm back in Russia soon, hopefully I gotta get St. Petersburg. I never did get up there.
Dude,
I
oh,
almost ended up working there instead of Moscow, but my wife's been there, of course, and it's just I mean, Moscow is amazing. But yeah, I mean, St. Petersburg, the art, the galleries, I mean, there's
oh my
just
gosh. It's such a
some
beautiful city
amazing
too.
Mhm,
And I mean, they've put in these garish skyscrapers, or at least one of them. It's just the worst. But
mm,
before that, you couldn't have anything that was higher than the Admiraltestva.
mhm,
And then also, there's only one building. It was the House of Books that was painted black. All the other ones, at least at that time, according to law, they had to be painted like yellow or blue or some bright color. So the city it's so beautiful, man. And all the canals and everything. Oh my
mhm.
God. I can't wait to go back.
Yeah, same. Yeah, that was the cool thing with Moscow is they kept right old school Moscow, which is majority of it, right? Just
Mhm.
extremely traditional, extremely clean, pristine, and then they made one section, right, Moscow City, the really modern, tall skyscrapers, but they didn't like mix it. And
Good.
that's the one thing I can't stand about American cities. A lot of them, right, is that it's like, oh, you have this beautiful church and architecture, and then this like modern skyscraper, and it's like, maybe kind of have, like, an old city, a new
Yeah.
city,
Yeah.
keep some of that, like, traditionalism and architecture, but, uh, luckily, parts of New York, right, they built it so dense that, yeah, most of it certain sections are, old school, I guess, for American standpoint, but, yeah, I like how a lot of the places in Europe, they're really retaining the old architecture and they're not trying to blend it too much. So,
Mhm.
but
Yeah.
and then so you're looking to fulfill mid late January, basically,
Yeah.
very soon.
So I've got the last pages of lettering back from Eric Weathers.
Oh,
So now
nice.
it's just a matter of I'm just going to see how many books I sold and print a little bit more than that, and then just go straight to print. I mean, I'm going to be sending that off on Monday.
Hmm.
Technically, the campaign doesn't close till sometime tomorrow.
Hmm.
I think it's like 9 p.m. tomorrow or something.
Hmm.
Um, and that's just a little bit of time for stragglers. Obviously, tonight's the big push.
Yeah, I
But then after that, yeah, I mean, Monday morning, I'm off actually Monday, so I have plenty of time to figure everything out and get it all squared away.
think
There's
we
a
got a
few
backer.
things. Did we? Oh, look at this. Awesome. Thank
Nice.
you.
Oh yeah, keep it
Thank you
going.
very
Keep it
much.
going.
Oh, look, it's
Cool.
Dr. Ben. What's up, Dr. Ben?
Yeah, what's going on? Let's check in on the chat here. We got Dr. Ben. What's going on, man? And then we had Amazing Gaming Productions. Specificity is a great way to sell anything. Don't use generic terms like handgun. Use the specific type. Yep, absolutely. I agree.
Um,
Check your DMs.
you didn't send me anything, Dr. Ben. Oh, there it is.
Well,
Oh,
let's check out the trailer here. I think I have the audio problem solved from
hmm.
last week. Thanks, Patrick. So let's check this out. See if it works.
Yes. You can hear that, right, chat? I gotta get to 69. Let's go. Yes.
Buffer, damn it.
Don't you wish you could do, gosh, that's one of the biggest. That annoyed me so much back in the day when that happened and they stopped allowing you to just pause things and buffer them. In the frozen mountains of Mongolia.
Okay. Yeah, my internet took crap yesterday. It seems like some of the wind that we're having up here is not being very kind to my internet, but let's give it a shot.
War raging. The Soviet Union and the People's Republic of China desperately vie for territory. Amidst the conflict, a monster of hideous strength leads the path of brutal carnage. Red Army Command dispatches their finest soldier to capture the beast. Minotaur. Will he succeed in his mission or be consumed by this nightmare? Yes. Fund my comic right now, folks. Only $10, $18 plus shipping. $8 including shipping.
Nice. I think the audio worked.
Yeah, wait, I did. At least I heard it. That was by Good Stuff. Great guy. Great, makes great trailers. He makes the rounds, doing a lot of trailers for lots of people. So if you have trailer needs, check him out. Obviously, you can see he did great work for me.
Yep, yeah, I've heard a lot of guys using them and being really happy with them, but really cool guy too.
Very
Awesome.
quick too.
Mm-hmm.
On it.
Yeah, him and Vaughn. I've worked with Vaughn myself, but yeah, they seem to be really really quick turnaround, really high quality. So definitely two guys to reach out to because yeah, making a trailer outside of some basic stuff is freaking pain in the ass, especially
Yeah.
dealing with some of the Adobe programs and stuff. I remember I made just a quick little trailer for my sign up on my campaign like a year and a half ago. I spent like 7 hours straight on it to do like the most basic stuff, but it's like that some of those programs are so complicated for people that are new to it that I mean even Photoshop gets complicated. Constantly checking YouTube and different tutorials and stuff, but yeah.
Dude, I got a version of Photoshop. I got Photoshop 7 on my computer.
Nice.
It's wild.
They still let you use it?
No, they
I was
don't.
gonna
That's
say.
the thing. I like bought a disc off eBay. It was like $270 or something for
Jeez.
Photoshop 7 because that's the one I'd used my whole life and that's the only one I know how to use. So putting it on my new computer, it can't do some special effects that it used
Mhm.
to be able to do, which sucks because you could do some crazy things with the little that you had at your disposal. But it still works right now. It still makes PSD files they work just the same for other people. Like I have, I got Peter sending me, Photoshop files that they work on 7. So I'm like, I'm not arguing.
That's crazy.
And you don't have to pay monthly for it. That's my thing. I hate this like subscription based, like, oh, you want to have Adobe Photoshop? Well, pay us $70 a year. It's like, just make me pay $500 for the program and let's be done with it.
Mhm.
I hate the subscription stuff.
Yeah. Yeah, no, and it's getting out of control too because it's between Photoshop or just Adobe Suite, let's say in general, right? And then now StreamYard prices and if you want to use
Mhm.
Clipchamp just to do basic video editing, like everything have any decent service. It's like there's a lot of monthly costs that are not getting any better for creators, especially StreamYard. Those bastards doubled
Yeah.
it out of
Good.
nowhere. And the only way to curb it was to get it during the Black Friday sale, buy a year's worth or upfront or whatever, and then you could go back to the like 40 something a month, but buying in bulk. And it's like, that's not an easy pill for everyone to swallow. But
No.
like, I mean,
I had to
you
tighten
want
my
to up
belt
it
that week, I'll
20%.
tell you that much.
Yeah, if you want to up it like 10, 20% and gradually do it, that would make a little more sense. But they're just like, we're gonna double it. It's like, excuse me. What?
Well, they know that a lot of people rely upon it. A lot of people don't want to go to a different streaming program. Like I don't know if you ever use Streamlabs, but
I tried.
it's not as easy. I mean, StreamYards it is a really good program. So, they kind of
Well,
got us.
Streamlabs seems great if you're gaming and you're just streaming by yourself to an audience.
Mm,
But when it comes to like inviting folks, having to have an individual link to all of them, and then not having an automatic like formatting where it just pops you in these couple
right.
pre-loaded formats, you got to like drag and minimize and maximize everyone's little square, and it's like that would be a nightmare if you end up having 6 plus
Yeah.
guests. You're moving them all over the place, and it's like,
You'd have
no.
to prepare those things beforehand too. So, if you've got, oh, look at that.
Perfect.
Well,
I guess let's
amazing.
check our DMs. That's
Let
random.
me, let me look. Hold on. Oh, and Justin. Oh, nice. Very nice. Well, it'd be very rude of me to just dip out on you like this, BA.
No, you need to do it.
You think so?
Oh yeah, dude, you got a campaign to raise funds on. That's what this is all about. You gotta go maximize this, man. Go jump in there. For sure.
Wow, I feel bad leaving you here, though. We were only here for 30 minutes.
Yeah. 30 minutes,
Mm.
man.
Well,
I
you know what, BA?
I'm gonna
Thanks, man. I appreciate it.
we all go over and watch Trashcast. Let's support Patrick, and then I mean you'll probably be streaming later as well, depending on that. So
At this point, I'm kind of like, because my stream started in an hour, so I don't know if I should just say we're going to Trashcast. I don't know how I can double stream. I don't know.
yeah.
See, I'm too stupid to know how to double stream. Ah!
I
Well,
wouldn't worry
okay.
about it, man.
We'll
Just
figure out. We'll figure it out.
go show your stuff, dude.
Awesome. Well,
All right,
BA,
man.
thanks for having me on, man. I really appreciate
Hey,
it.
no, I'm glad, man. Probably sending all the heads up about all the streams for your closeout. Got some people's attention, so mission accomplished.
Yep, that is. Thank you so much. Thank you, chat. Thanks for
Yeah,
keeping us in the loop, chat. Appreciate it.
yeah.
And
Thank you, chat, for joining. I know it was a short and sweet one, but hey, we did get a backer at least to start. Let's see if we can get some more backers on Trashcast and all the other streams tonight. And then I don't know if I'll stream Tuesday because it's New Year's Eve, but maybe I'll do something Monday night just to try to get a normal kind of Dark Horse discourse going. So we'll touch on the topics and maybe we'll bring you back, Patrick, and
perfect.
touch on that stuff. So thank you, everybody.
Amazing.
You have a good night, and let's
Thanks,
migrate
BA.
over.
Peace.
See you.